Okay, guys, we're going to try it again. Let's see what we have tonight. I hope it's a good one. Ooh, it's a little golden book. And it's a Christmas story. It is Frosty the Snowman. I can't wait to read it. It all started with the snow, the first snow of the season. As every child knows, there's a certain magic to be the very first snow, and when it falls on the day before Christmas, something wonderful is bound to happen. Children, back to your seats, called the teacher. The snow can wait. I've hired Professor Hinkle, the magician, to entertain us for a Christmas party. Unfortunately, Professor Hinkle was just about the worst magician in the world. Uh-oh. And so, I put the eggs into my magic hat, said Professor Hinkle. Abracadabra and voila! The eggs have turned into a mess. Where's my rabbit? Hocus Pocus, where are you? He didn't know that his rabbit, Hocus Pocus, was hiding in the hat. Ugh, yucky eggs all over. What a mess. The only thing that this hat contained was a trash can. Professor Hinkle threw it away. But the hat didn't stay in the trash for long. The hat with the Hocus Pocus underneath hopped out the door. That's when the bell rang. The children were free for the whole Christmas holiday, and they went running after Hocus Pocus. Hocus Pocus was the rabbit. Hey, look at the snow, cried the children as they ran outside. They worked together to build the first snowman of the season. They wanted to name him. How about Frosty, they said. Frosty the Snowman. The children danced around Frosty as they sang about his button nose and his eyes made out of coal. Come back here, you, cried Professor Hinkle when he was chasing his hat. And the rabbit jumped on top of Frosty. Frosty now had a hat. Happy birthday, said the snowman. Oh my goodness. The snowman came to life. This hat will make us a millionaire, said the greedy magician. And he pulled the hat back off of Frosty. But as soon as the hat went back on Frosty's head, he became alive again, and the children danced around him. They had a wonderful time dancing around Frosty. Oh no, Frosty explained. I'm all wishy and washy. I'm starting to melt. The children knew they needed to take Frosty someplace where he would never melt, like the North Pole, where it's freezing cold. So they took him to the train, and they said, I'll go with you, Frosty. I'm sure I'll be back in time for supper. Karen, Frosty, and Hocus Pocus jumped into the refrigerated boxcar. No one saw Professor Hinkle sneak under the car and hold on to the rails. Can you see him? A refrigerated boxcar is a splendid way to travel. Splendid, that is, for a snowman or a furry-coated rabbit. But for a little girl like Karen, it was just too cold. So when the freight train made a stop, Frosty got them all out. No one saw Professor Hinkle jump off. Frosty took Karen and Hocus Pocus to a wooden glen, where they found animals decorating the trees for the big celebration. They knew Santa Claus was coming that night. After Hocus Pocus spoke to the animals, they agreed to build a campfire to keep Karen warm. But it didn't take long for Professor Hinkle to catch up with the friends. Uh-oh. Get on my shoulders, cried Frosty. Frosty, since he was made of snow, was the fastest belly whopper in the world. Soon he and Karen were sliding down the hill, leaving that gritty Professor Hinkle far behind. At the bottom of the hill was a tiny greenhouse for growing tropical poinsettias for Christmas. It was a perfect place for Karen to stay warm. "Frosty, you'll melt in here," warned Karen. "I'll only stay inside for a minute," Frosty said. Uh-oh, until Professor Hinkle locked the door. And he couldn't get out. That night, Hocus Pocus led Santa Claus to the greenhouse to save Frosty. But by then... Oh no, Frosty had completely melted. "Don't cry, Karen," said Santa. "Frosty's not gone for good. You see, he was made out of Christmas snow. You can bet your boots that when a good jolly December wind kisses it, it'll turn into Christmas snow all over again. Just watch." Sarah was about to place the magic hat on Frosty's head when Professor Hinkle shouted, "I want that hat, and I want it now." "If you touch that hat," Santa said, "I will never bring you another Christmas present as long as you live." Professor Hinkle was very sorry indeed. He ran straight home to start writing. He was going to write a zillion times, "I will not take Frosty's hat." "Happy birthday," said Frosty once more. Karen was happy to see her friend again, but now it was time to go home. Santa put Karen in a sleigh and promised her that he would take Frosty back to the North Pole with him, so he would never melt again. Karen hated to say goodbye to Frosty, but Santa said that Frosty could return every year with that magical Christmas snow. Aww. Frosty waved goodbye as he hurried on his way. He shouted a promise to return the following Christmas, and every year he did just that. Merry Christmas! That was a neat little book. I like Frosty the Snowman.